Hi everyone, welcome to Pawpaw's Workshop. Today it's all about molding. We're going to start and show the difference between quarter crown and Baseshoe, how to install it, how to do the inside corners as well as the outside corners. We're going to work up towards the base trim and even some cold molding. Same thing, how to install it with the inside corners and the outside corners. And we're going to finish off with crown molding, showing you how to do this as well. So let's get started. And the first thing that I'm going to start with is the absolute simplest molding to be able to cut. And this is the quarter round. It looks like it is a quarter of a circle, and that's pretty much what it is, and that's why it gets this name, quarter round. Baseshoe is oftentimes mixed up with this, but it's not. It has a long side and it has a very short side. This is called Baseshoe. And being able to install this is very similar, but I'm going to show you how to do that. And on the quarter round molding, what I'm going to do is show you on the outside corners first. And basically what I'm going to be doing is cutting a 45-degree angle on two pieces where they will fit together. And I'm going to get that done first. And when you cut the two 45-degree angles, they'll butt together just like this and form a perfect 90-degree angle. So let me go over and show you on the floor what that would look like. So in this situation, this piece would go down right to this edge of this base, and then the next piece would slide right into it. And again, that would form the perfect 90-degree angle. And I'm just going to hold that in place because I'm not going to nail this in. And that's what it's going to look like. And that gives you a very nice, tight fit. Now the next thing I want to do is show you what happens if this does not form a perfect 90-degree angle. You can see right now, if this is sitting down here, this looks great. That's exactly the way it should look. But let's aggravate the situation and let's make it where this sits this way. And now we have a gap at the top. We don't want that gap. So a real easy way to be able to do that without using all the fancy protractors that I have seen on the market is we're just going to take this first piece and we're going to draw a line. And I put this tape down so I'm not marking the floor. And then I'm going to put this second piece in here and I'm going to exaggerate my 90-degree line and I'm going to put that down. And this can actually extend further because I want to be able to extend this line. Okay, there we go. And now all I need to be able to do is when I cut this, bring this point up to here. This point is right at the edge. And then I'm going to mark this side, but I need to extend it. So I need to mark a point right here and a point right there. And then I'll take that over to the table saw and be able to cut that. Now with that cut, and you can see how this is definitely off on the 90-degree angle, with this little trick that I'm showing you, it makes it where that now is a perfect tight joint. And that's what we want to be able to accomplish. So this is a quick and easy way to be able to have a guaranteed perfect fit every time without all the fancy equipment with the protractors and different tools that you can buy. All it takes is a little piece of tape and a marker. Now what I'm going to do is cut following this line right here around to be able to cut the shape. And I'll back cut And back cut means if this is the 90-degree angle right here, then I want to be able to back cut and cut back this direction. The traditional way to do that is to use the coping saw. And this is a very old coping saw, but it works real well. Now the other thing is I have it where this blade cuts on the up pull stroke, and that works best for me. What best for you? It just depends, so it's something that you can try. But to cut this, we're going to cut right along that line. As I'm cutting this, I want to explain, I started off on the miter saw cutting a 45-degree angle, and that left the raw wood exposed with that little thin white line from the primer. And that creates the guide that we have to follow when we're cutting this. And it doesn't matter if this is quarter round, base, chair rail, all of this is done the exact same way. As you're cutting this molding, it really doesn't take a lot of pressure from the saw. Just let the saw do the work for you. Okay, and you can see where I had my back cut line drawn in, that's exactly where I came out from the cutting. And you can see how that creates the nice sharp point. That's what we're looking for. So let's see how that fits. If I take my other piece, you can see that that fits directly into the other piece of molding, and it creates that 45-degree look. That's what we want to be able to accomplish. So if that was on the floor, you can see how that would look. Absolutely perfect all the way down. Now in this situation, the first piece of molding that would go down is this piece and go right up against the baseboard. And then with the piece that we had just cut, it would slide right over and on top of that first piece. And that makes it where it gives that appearance of being a perfect 90-degree angle without showing any type of crack at all. Now the other thing that I want to show you is if I have this in this position, over the course of the year, this will expand and contract, but it's not going to show the crack. Now I want to switch and show you what the Baseshoe looks like in the exact same situation, where it's a nice tight fit. And here's a close-up of the same thing showing that fit. Another way to be able to cut the molding is using the angle grinder with the sanding disc on it. And this takes a little bit of practice, but it actually goes quicker than using the coping saw. And again, the process is exactly the same. We start off cutting a 45-degree angle on the miter saw, and then instead of using the coping saw, we just use the angle grinder and we cut away that raw waste wood all the way up to that white line that's created by the saw cut and the primer that's there. And with the sanding disc, you can actually get very accurate and make it a very, very smooth cut. And sometimes I think you can actually do it better than you can with the coping saw. Okay, now that this is cut, again, this is following that white line all the way around. You can see how this is on a back cut. So then if this was against your wall and that fit down there, you could see that it would give a perfect fit. Now the next thing I want to show you is a piece of baseboard. And I went ahead and cut my 45-degree angle, and you can see that this line creates a profile that we actually need to cut and follow for this to be able to mesh together. If I was doing a outside corner, it's done exactly like we did the quarter round the Baseshoe, but I want to be able to show the inside corner on being able to cut this. Now I've cut away the majority of this, and I'm just going to show you how using this sanding disc that I can cut a very nice clean edge following that profile. With the majority of the wood already cut away, it takes very little time to be able to finish cutting the exact profile with this sander. I like this a lot better than the coping saw. Now I finished cutting this, and you can see it still has a nice sharp point at the top, and I followed this profile all the way down. So let me get the other piece of wood and let's see how it fits. So I want to try to get this the best way in the camera so that you can see this. But that fits right in just like that, and that creates a very nice fit. When you're cutting this, you want to try to keep this point intact. And that's very difficult to do, especially with the coping saw. Using the sander makes it much easier, but you still have to be very careful. And the nice thing about that, if you do this properly, it really shows a level of professionalism that will go above and beyond. Because so often, this point is broken off and is lost. This is on the inside corner. Now granted, we've already got just a plain base here. And again, as far as this piece, this is just a 90-degree straight cut. Nothing fancy about that. And it slides right into place. And then the piece that we just cut will slide right over on top of that first piece. And you can see that gives a very nice tight fit. Let me zoom in here. And that's what you're looking for. That is about as perfect as you can get. Now the next thing I want to show you is this cove molding. And the interesting thing about it that a lot of people are really not aware of is that there is a top and a bottom. If you actually look at this closely at the actual profile, this portion right here is actually wider than this portion down here. So this wider portion is the top. Now the other thing that you have to be able to look at is on the back side, this portion right here is actually square. And because that is square, we're going to cut it exactly the same way as we've cut the other molding. Now when we're cutting the cove molding, it can sit straight in like that, nice and tight, because of this 90-degree angle here. But you still want to consider, because there is a top and a bottom, you still want to consider how you place it into the miter saw to cut. And the easiest way to be able to do that is the base of the saw is the ceiling, and consider the back as the wall. So this is actually how it would go up on the ceiling. Okay, so I'm going to turn it over. So now this becomes my bottom part. This is my ceiling, and I'm going to slide that over, and I'm going to make my cut. Now with this cut, you can see the profile again, and you can see how this creates my line. That's what I'm going to be following. And I'm going to cut away this waste material again so that it will slide in right into that point. And the other thing I want you to be able to see, you'll notice how this portion is longer than this portion as it's cut. And so that gives you another indication that there is a top and a bottom. Okay, now with this cut, and again I follow that same profile, you can see if I put that together, then that gives, again, a very nice point. This point right here is actually the bottom. That's exactly what we're looking for. That gives a nice tight fit, and we kept this point intact again. That's what we want to be able to accomplish. So when that goes into place, it will go into place just like that. And that is the goal. Now when we're cutting crown molding is going to be done the same way. Again, I want to show you this portion right here is actually the bottom. This is the top. Now because we do not have this as a 90-degree angle, we have to actually set this into the saw where it aligns on the table with these 2 points here. And again, on the saw itself, the base of the saw is the ceiling, and the upright portion for your backstop is considered the wall. So the first thing I've done, I went ahead and turned the saw to the 45-degree angle. And remember, this is the ceiling, this is going to be the wall. So this is how it sits up on the crown molding. So we turn it upside down and we position it. Now then, we roll this until we get the exact point that we want. And I'm going to put it right there. Now I'm going to draw a pencil line here. And that way, if I was doing a lot of crown molding, I'd be able to put it at the exact same point every time. And to be able to help that, what I actually would do is take a scrap piece of wood right on that line and clamp it down, and this would be a longer piece of the wood. And that way it would drop in exactly at the same angle every time. And that's critical. You want that to have where you can just drop in and then slide over and cut. And again, that creates the profile that we're looking for right there. And this is again the waste material that we're going to cut away. Now I've completed cutting this profile here. So let's take a look and see how it would fit into place. Okay, and this shows the finished cut, and that would be ready to be able to install. Today's video was all about taking the mystery out of cutting molding. I know it can be a little bit overwhelming at times, especially cutting the crown molding, but if you take a look at it, there's basic similarities in cutting all of the moldings, and that's what I wanted to try to explain today. So if you like this video, please hit the like button, and don't forget, please subscribe to my channel and hit the little bell notification so that you'll be notified on all the videos that I upload. So again, thank you for watching my videos today.